we know what an increasing number of people are saying right now?
What's that?
AOC.
I've seen AOC kind of rising in terms of her stock in the party.
Yes.
I hadn't heard her on being mentioned in the presidential run, so that's news to me.
So she's doing this tour around the country with Bernie Sanders. They are drawing big crowds.
Yes. What was it? The fight fascism or the oligarchy, fight the oligarchy tour or whatever. Yeah.
And so people are now looking at her, which of course
sorry,
precisely
brought to you by
Pfizer and George Soros.
But here's what's funny is because we look at her and listen to her, and she just sounds dumb to me.
She has, very vapid positions on pretty much everything.
Yeah, and it truly, especially you look at some of her early social media, it's like this is not that smart of a person.
No.
At all.
She comes across very much as an influencer.
Yeah.
Like the I got my start doing the trendy dance influencer.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because she did that. But it was kind of funny because there was like this video unearthed of her when she was in college and she was dancing.
Oh, yeah. On her.
It was nothing. It was like what every college kid does. It was like, it was cute. There was nothing wrong with
It's fine. But I guess what I mean to say is that, there are influencers out there who developed influence because they have actually done things.
Right.
And then there are influencers who have developed their influence because people like them, because they entertain them or something like that. So that's what I'm saying. She's not an influencer because she did things that were influential.
No.
She comes across very much like the influencer who got their start just doing dances.
She's probably so popular right now because everybody else in that cabinet, in that position around her makes her look much better by comparison, both phically and mentally. So the concept of the designated ugly fat friend, is like all of DC compared to her, because she's not, I know some people will well, she's cute, well, she's well-spoken. It's like, yeah, but only compare her to everybody else in that room.
Wow. Okay, so the entire Democratic Party are the Duffs for AOC. That's a fascinating analysis, and it's probably true.
So then let me follow up then and say, are we going into the point of our public policy and politics where we are in an influencer area, and the old stodgy people like me who want substance, even from my opponents, I want substance, and are we replacing that with the AOCs, with the Lauren Boeberts, with the people like that who are more of an influencer than they are actual heavy thinkers?
Yes,
I think so. I think we've been moving in that direction for a while. I don't think it has crystallized until we got to the influencer age here in social media. I think prior to this, we've been moving towards the cult of personality sort of setup for a long time. I mean, prior to basically JFK TV, essentially, most of individuals' contact with the president was by radio. And newspaper, and it was periodic. So that you didn't have a 24-hour constant view of an individual who looks a certain way and speaks a certain way to influence your intake of their policies or their value in their office. But now, because of media, because of the way we do things, the way we consume news and all that, I think there's been an increasing value in certainly just general attractiveness.
Oh, sure.
And the way certain people speak, if it's in such a way that they feel connected to these individuals, and of course, the manner in which that information is being delivered. AOC does a lot of these sit down. She's basically sitting on the floor with her phone, doing exactly what every other influencer does. And the younger generation feels comfortable with that method of delivery, as opposed to some dude in a suit with a red tie standing behind a podium in front of a gaggle of news microphones.
Yeah, people my age, I can absolutely speak 100%. It's about the dopamine hit you get from listening and looking at somebody. It's about the sensationalism, and it's about how can I use it to spite people I don't like. So it doesn't matter if the entire everything is right. If it's one clip owns my opposition, then I'm going to continue on with that. And at the end of that, I don't watch a lot of her talks. So I don't know how well she's doing that, but she must be doing that well enough for people on the left, because there's nothing I've seen that comes remotely close to this is presidential material. If anything, it's like, wow, there's somebody that looks a little bit better than Harris. Like that's not the huge achievement we should be treating it as.
I mean, that's the dopamine hit thing, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people need to understand is that people don't vote for the reasons we want them to vote. I
Right.
want everybody to study the issues. I want everybody to understand the value of limited government and keeping government in its lane and all those sorts of things.
And
because,
understand the philosophical position of the candidate.
you know, I want you to read the Federalist Papers. I want you to read the Anti-Federalist Papers. I want you to read Bastiat. I want you to read, you know, Sowell. I want you to read
Hayek.
Hazlitt. I want you to read Hayek. I mean, but most people don't do that.
No.
You know, they just don't do that.
Of course not.
So, but they will watch a 30-second clip of somebody doing a dance and going Orange Man bad. and we may sit there and go, okay, you didn't say anything. Why do you have 1.2 million fans who are waiting for you to tell them what to do or whatever she is? I pulled that number out of my ass. But
The OK Boomer girl that just did that little cringy dance got so much support for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
That is the culture we live in now.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep. The pretty dancing girls on social media.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, the TikTok date has come and gone.
Mhm.
TikTok is not supposed to be operating according to the law.
Oh yeah, the
right now.
Yes, the bite dance law, essentially.
Right.
Mhm.
But President Trump has said, hey, they helped me get elected. So we're not going to enforce that right now. We're going to work something out to save TikTok, even though we spent the last 3 or 4 years saying, get that thing off your phone. This is bad.
And if you have it on your phone, get rid of your phone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, coming up with Larry Connor's commentary, a Democrat claims Trump supporters will abandon him like rats leaving a sinking ship.
Oh, goodness.
This Dem knows all about rats.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Watch for a few morning sprinkles, but there's only about a 10% chance of this. Most of us will be dry. We'll be stepping out into temperatures that are in the upper 50s. And the cloud cover that exists right now, that's going to continue through the day. Temperatures nearing 70 degrees, but not quite reaching it. Turning breezy come Tuesday. Watch for even cooler temperatures tomorrow, but then the warm up begins by the midweek. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Craving the freshest in town? Anthony's Produce is your daily destination for nature's finest. Start your day with warm, fresh baked Fazio's bread delivered daily. Browse our rainbow of quality fruits and vegetables, always fresh, always delicious. Hosting an event? Let us create stunning fruit bouquets and veggie trays, or treat someone special to our chocolate-covered strawberries. We proudly stock hundreds of locally made products, and yes, we even have seasoned firewood. Anthony's Produce opens 7 days a week, 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. at 701 Jungerman Road or anthonysproduce.com.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Senator Adam Schiff, and I will admit I almost choke every time I have to call Schiff a U.S. Senator. Anyway, Schiff is claiming that soon, because of the Trump tariffs, Republicans will, quote, abandon Trump like rats off a sinking ship. I'm going to concede that Schiff knows a thing or two about rats and lying. He's backing up his claim, pointing out that Democrats got 4 Republicans to vote against Trump's tariffs on Canada. 3 of them, usual suspects, Collins, Murkowski, McConnell. The 4th, Senator Rand Paul. Schiff said these were Republicans not just speaking privately, not just speaking publicly, but actually voting against President Trump. And you're going to see more and more of that, the more destruction Trump brings to our economy. So do you agree with Schiff? Whoa, wow. You don't need to yell that loud. I heard no. I prefer to go with the analysis of Kevin O'Leary, who runs an investment firm. He said anybody who claims that Trump will fail doesn't know. This has never been done before. No, I'll side with O'Leary. And Schiff, you can go back to those you know best. Rats.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
In all of these years that Wellington Environmental has been my sponsor, I've never mentioned their duct cleaning services. Allergy season is here, and Wellington crews clean air ducts daily in homes and commercial buildings, also cleaning air handling units and diffusers in commercial facilities. Why? Well, because people will see black dirt and mold on the vents, or they are actually suffering from allergies. Don't be fooled by low-cost duct cleaning providers saying they charge only prevent, because once they get on site, the price will skyrocket. Wellington does not do this, never has. Wellington will give you an estimate, and you say Larry Connors, and immediately you get a 20% discount. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 314-644-4930. Make your home and business better, safer with Wellington. Be well with Wellington. This is Larry Connors, and my favorite sandwich at Capriati's is a Philly cheesesteak with peppers, sweet peppers, but sometimes hot peppers. I love Capriati's, and so will you.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester at midnight in Rock Hill.
Are you tired of taxes? Then prepare for a knockout evening. Americans for Prosperity and News Talk STL proudly present Torch the Tax, an evening with Mayor Glenn Kane Jacobs. The WWE superstar who became mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, is coming to the St. Charles Funny Bone Wednesday, April 16th. Don't miss this unique opportunity to hear from a champion who's now out of the ring and fighting for taxpayers. Get your free tickets now at afpmissouri.com. That's afpmissouri.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Thank you for the opportunity to let me vent here.
Live and local.
Way to be, guys. 1019 all the way.
This is News Talk STL.
I am home.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio. This and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
All right, we just heard the promo for Glenn Jacobs' Torch the Tax coming up on Wednesday. I am really looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
You want to meet Kane? You want to meet Glenn Jacobs? You can do it on Wednesday. We've actually hit the number of tickets that we wanted to get out there. So this event's going to be full. We're may or may not be adding a few tables. So there may be a few tickets left there. So if you go to newstalkstl.com, this will probably be the last chance. I think we're going to shut this off before too long here, but we're going to find some room and add a few more tables here if you want to join us. So check that out. newstalkstl.com. Visiting now with Congressman Bob Onder. And Bob, really appreciate you being back on once again here. Let me start with you all I say you all mean the House. You just passed the SAVE Act. And so you get that through, not a huge margin as expected, goes to the Senate. Chuck Schumer says, no way, no how, DOA, we're never going to allow this. So when you all are crafting this legislation or you're debating it, knowing that this is very possibly what's going to happen on the Senate side, does that affect the legislation itself? Or is it a matter of this is our part, we're going to do our part, now it's up to the Senate Republicans to get past the minority there?
Well, yeah, good morning, guys. Great to be back. Yes, it is very sad that on some of these issues, and these are issues that are 80-20 issues, 80% of Americans agree with the conservative, the Republican position on things like the premise that only citizens should vote in U.S. elections. It is sad that very, very few Democrats will join us. I believe we got 4 Democrat votes on the SAVE Act on Thursday. So, yeah, I mean, it is a consequence of divided government. It's a consequence of a relatively narrow majority in the U.S. Senate. But the bottom line is there's really no area to find middle ground or compromise on that. If the Democrats want non-citizens and want illegal aliens to vote in our elections, I mean, how do you split the difference on that one? So we stand for election integrity. Unfortunately, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, most of them do not.
Morning, Bob. Gabe here. So we've been talking in the studio a little bit about talking across the aisle, is just having conversations with people with whom we disagree and things like that, and how we're having some trouble on this side of the of politics here with that. What does it look like inside the chamber when you're trying to court maybe Democratic support for things like this? Or what do those conversations look like when you're trying to reach across the aisle?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Many of these Democrats, when you talk to them one-on-one, they're really nice, cordial people. Many of them have successful backgrounds in their profession or in their business. You have a lot in common. Good families, and even when you talk to them one on one about issues, they're more sensible on these issues than they seem. The problem is their base is so far left. I suspect that if they voted their conscience, I suspect that about half of the congressional Democrats would be with us on protecting women's sports or protecting kids from transgender mutilation. The problem is they have people in their country, in their party, that are just so far left, who think illegal aliens ought to be voters, who think we ought to, mutilate kids in the name of gender ideology, that think we should have DEI in every aspect of our lives. When it comes to their votes, they vote in the way that you've been observing. They vote with the far left.
We're visiting with Congressman Bob Onder. So let's take that another step forward. Over the weekend, there was an arson at the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, as well. Of course, and over the past years, you've had the violence of Black Lives Matter. You've had the violence of Antifa. There's obviously, two attempts to assassinate President Donald Trump. Political violence is not new. I don't want to pretend that this is a new thing, but it just feels to me, Bob, that we're on the cusp of maybe an era where this is being accepted and normalized to some degree, to where more and more people, and right now, that's on the left, and a lot of this has to do with the Tesla nonsense is going on, is they're saying, no, that's a legitimate tactic, or it might be, I guess, in certain circumstances. So are we starting to accept this as normal and acceptable when it's not? And what do we need to do to sort of cool the temperature to say, listen, we can hate each other, we can disagree with each other, we can like each other and disagree, but we can't do this where we're going?
Yeah, unfortunately, the left has been the revolutionary party, the party of violence, of revolution, since its inception. Karl Marx, Lenin, Stalin, there was this belief that the end justifies the means. And that was the case with the new left as well, whether it be the Weather Underground, the Black Panthers, and all the way to Antifa and BLM today. Unfortunately, it's not just a matter of, difference in opinions, where we conservatives believe in less government, more individual freedom, and so on. The left, unfortunately, is a totalitarian ideology, and violence is justified. What do we do about it? I think we enforce the law. I think the BLM riots and all the arson that happened in that era, by and large, most of the perpetrators got away with their political violence. Now, regarding the Pennsylvania governor's mansion firebombing, we really don't know the motivation of this guy. I mean, of course, Josh Shapiro, a very progressive Democrat governor, also happened to be Jewish. He was celebrating the Passover with his family. Whether there was some anti-Semitic element to this, at this point, I don't think we know. But yeah, we can't have tolerance for anti-Semitism. We can't have tolerance for violence, for arson. We cannot. It cannot be justified because someone was acting on their political beliefs. If anything, that makes it somewhat worse.
So Bob, we've got the SAVE Act, we've got the I guess the big beautiful bill, kind of being in discussions. Are there any other pieces of legislation that we should kind of be keeping our eye on?
Well, those are really the big ones that we worked on last week, along with the No Rogue Rulings Act. That was the bill sponsored by Congressman Issa. That's addressing the fact that in at least 100 different lawsuits around the country, always in progressive jurisdictions with progressive judges, judges have taken it upon themselves to issue injunctions blocking the legitimate power of the President of the United States. In other words, at least 100 judges think that they have veto power over the Article 2 executive power of our president. And this is ridiculous. Our founders in the Federalist Papers, Hamilton wrote that the judiciary was the weakest and, quote, least dangerous branch of government. All of a sudden, individual district court judges, not the Supreme Court, not the U.S. Court of Appeals, but individual district judges think that they have more power than the President of the United States to execute our laws. So the No Rogue Rulings Act would end this practice of activist nationwide injunctions and limit judges' injunctions to the parties of the lawsuit, which is always how it was.
All right. We just got a minute or so left here, Congressman. So we've got a whole new slew of announcements possibly coming as early as today. You know, the president says he's going to exempt some electronics, but he wants to put another tariff on semiconductors and an additional tariff on medicines coming in. I mean, so we're getting moving parts all over the place. There's a lot of instability being created, even, you know, and you and I have talked about what we agree and disagree with regarding tariffs, but at some point, does the instability become a concern to where Republicans have to have the conversation with the president saying, Mr. President, this is almost chaotic and the markets need to know what's coming. You can't be changing it every few hours.
Yeah, I think there's no question that the instability of the state of our trade policies has contributed to the volatility we've seen the last couple of weeks. Look, in an ideal world, we would have open and free trade, you know, throughout the world, with the exception of national security issues such as we face with China. But I think in the long run, I think President Trump's policies, although many would say they're overly aggressive, perhaps in some ways, will result in freer, fairer trade. President Trump is the ultimate deal maker. I think he goes big on tariffs and then he backs off and makes deals. And I think we're already seeing that happen, and I think in the long run, it's all going to work out. But it could be rocky in the meantime.
Okay. All right, Congressman Bob Onder, great chat with you again. Thank you so much for the update.
Thanks, Bob.
You. Have a great week, guys.
All right, 314-912-1019. All right, coming up on 7:50 on Monday. That's like a lot of like stuff going on. I need you to tell me something good at 7:50. Let's do that. Just head here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
There's a time and place for everything.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Game tickets? Check.
A round of cold beers? Check.
Ballpark hot dogs? Check.
Baseball is back, and nothing beats a night out with the guys.
Or ladies.
At a Cardinals game.
From thrilling games and mouthwatering eats to the iconic ballpark energy, Busch Stadium is the ultimate spot for you and your crew to dive into America's favorite pastime.
Make your next night out the best one yet. Join us at Busch Stadium, where every hour is happy.
For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Attention golf enthusiasts. Berry Hill, your favorite 9-hole public golf course, is now open for the 2025 season. Tee off from 8 a.m. to sunset, with early 7 a.m. weekend hours starting in May. Test your skills on our diverse holes, join leagues, or take lessons from our pros. Planning a tournament? Check our website for the 2025 schedule and junior programs. And after your round, relax in our comfortable lounge. Call 314-731-7979 or visit bridgetonmo.com to book your tee time today.
Are the days of a personal doctor gone? Not at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler to share how our design is putting the care back into healthcare. Plain and simple, our members, not insurance companies, get our exclusive focus. That means same or next day appointments, responsive answers to your concerns, and a no-spin, big tool chest approach. It's about time you get serious time devoted to your medical needs. To learn about healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Experience the true flavors of Mexico at Dos Primos, O'Fallon's premier Mexican restaurant. From sizzling fajitas to homemade caldo de pollo, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and traditional recipes, all made fresh daily in our kitchen. Cool down with our famous margaritas or your favorite cerveza, while our friendly staff makes you feel like family. Dine in or carry out. Visit DosPrimosMexicanRestaurant.com or find us on North Main in O'Fallon.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
All right, coming up on 7:50 here on Monday. Man, we got a lot of ground to cover, including right around 8:04. We're going to bring you up to date what's happening, not just around the region, but around the world as well. This arson attack on Governor Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. Do you realize how scary this is? That guy set the fire inside the mansion. He got inside the mansion at 2 a.m. with the governor and his family.
That's so scary.
And he was, arrested when he set off the thing. And there was a lot of damage that happened. He tried to kill a sitting governor and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Bob Onder. We just talked to him about, we don't know the reason yet. So I'm not withholding judgment. The guy should go to jail for the rest of his life, as far as I'm concerned. But the reasoning behind that, was it just political? Was it anti-Semitism? We don't know. So we'll find out probably something in the coming days and weeks. And I'm sure the conspiracy theories are already out there as it stands now. That takes moments for somebody to type something stupid on social media.
Absolutely.
But all right. In the meantime, that's all pretty heavy stuff. Let's enjoy the next few minutes here, Gabe.
Tell me something good.
Northwestern University engineers have developed a pacemaker so small that it can fit inside the tip of a syringe and be non-invasively injected into the body, according to a new study published in Nature. This is really cool. Although it can work with hearts of all sizes, the pacemaker is particularly well suited to the tiny, fragile hearts of newborn babies with congenital heart defects. So smaller than a single grain of rice. The pacemaker is paired with a wireless device that mounts onto a patient's chest to control the pacing. It's designed for patients who only need temporary pacing, so all of its components are biocompatible, meaning they naturally dissolve into the body's biofluids, bypassing the need for surgical extraction as well. So
that's bizarre.
We're living in the freaking future, man.
No kidding.
It's really awesome.
That's amazing.
A tech firm has just demonstrated a computer chip, speaking of living in the future, that uses light and is capable of handling real-world computer workloads at revolutionary speeds and energy efficiency. So a company called Light Matter, I don't think they're listed yet, I looked, recently published 2 papers in the journal Nature describing their advances. Our current chips are limited by the speed of electrons flowing through wires and the inherent inefficiencies that come with that. So mainly power consumption and the production of waste heat, right? So, we've got all that. The so-called photonic computer chip performs its computations at the speed of light. It's been discussed and researched for decades now, but for the first time, a company has proven that they're commercially viable to make.
Okay, so would this replace what's out there now?
Yes, it's like basically we went from vacuum tubes to circuits to chips, microchips. Now we're going to photonic chips. That's how big of a leap this is going to be.
So this basically makes everything faster and can do more.
And more energy efficient and less waste heat.
Okay.
So all good things. So it's going to be wild what comes out here. So according to Light Matter's co-founder and CEO Nick Harris, the photonic processors were built in a currently existing facility for microprocessor manufacture, and with the same machines, they fit into a normal motherboard, demonstrating that this is a technology that could be available in years rather than decades. So we're almost there. A condition called essential tremor is a nervous system condition that causes uncontrollable rhythmic shaking in the body, most often in the hands. 72-year-old Orlando Avendano lived with his essential hand tremors for about 30 years, for more than 30 years, making it incredibly difficult to do simple things like tie his shoes or drink a glass of water. But after a procedure that took only a few hours, Orlando was cured.
Oh,
we have a cure for this now, people. At the Delray Medical Center and 78 other facilities around the country now, through the use of special headgear and an MRI machine, doctors can use targeted ultrasound waves to zap the specific part of the brain where the tremors originate and stop them in their tracks.
So this isn't the implanting something in there. This is like just taking care of the. Okay.
This is an outpatient procedure now. So aside from not needing surgery or anesthesia or special medicines or anything like that, it's covered by most insurances as well as Medicare.
So Harold, you want to meet up for lunch? Yeah, but I got to meet you a little bit late. I'm going to have a brain procedure.
Yep.
Be right there.
Yep. All right, now to help you plan to have a good week, Tuesday is National Glazed Spiral Ham Day. I don't know where they come up with these.
I don't know,
but it's fine.
I mean,
it's fine. This is fine.
I loves me a good spiraled glazed ham, but I didn't know we had a day.
There's a whole day for it, so apparently you got to go get one. Wednesday is National Eggs Benedict Day. So I don't understand how you get specific foods get their own days.
Where do you get the best Eggs Benedict in town?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I've only really had them at like kind of a greasy spoon kind of place that you wouldn't recognize, and also like the IHOP.
The Napoli over at the streets of St. Charles area. They've got an excellent
I
one.
bet they have.
Yeah, they've got a really good one.
Thursday is National Cheese Ball Day.
like actual cheese, or like the puffy chip things?
Like actual cheese ball, like the ones that you get for your hors d'oeuvres platter at Christmas time. Right, yeah. It's covered in nuts. Like that thing. I mean, look, I like cheese. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. Friday is Good Friday.
Right.
So absolutely, that is the goodest thing. Celebrating our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And then today is National Pecan Day.
Oh.
Now my preferred method of consumption is via pie.
There you go. That was my dad's favorite. He was a big pecan pie guy, and so to me, it's just grab a handful, of the pecans or almonds or anything, and that's the way I'll do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll have them in my mixed nuts, but obviously my preferred method of consumption is pie.
See, my dad was also type 2 diabetic, and when somebody figured out how to make a sugar-free pecan pie. He thought he was like getting some of his heavenly rewards while he was still on earth. He was so excited. He was like weirdly excited about that.
Never seen it before. Huh?
I had not seen that level of excitement from him until he got that. So he would have been, if he were still here today, he'd be with you on that.
Nice.
So, all right. So that is Tell Me Something Good. Yeah, good stuff there. I love those. Like, what day is it?
Yeah. And I get all these from the National Day website, and it's fun to kind of see those. There are tons of them, though. I have to kind of filter through which day is which, because I mean there are some days that are just weird. Like I have to say this one. There is a which day is it? Did I even write it down? I probably didn't even write it down. No. But one of these days this week is National Ex-Spouse Day.
Oh,
it's like what? Wait, so what? We're celebrating our ex? Like, I don't. What?
Ex means in the past.
Exactly. It's like I don't want to celebrate you.
No.
Maybe celebrate the separation. It's like I don't know how to.
I don't think the last time I spoke to my ex literally was in a courtroom while we were fighting over custody for the kids. And I think that was over 20 years ago.
Right.
You want to go out to do dinner and do it again, huh?
There's no need to celebrate that day.
Need to celebrate anything.
Yeah, so I don't get it. It's so weird. So these days can get a little wonky, but I try to bring the best ones to you because I want to bring you good news and good news only.
So telling me something good with Gabe. All right, going to bring you an update on everything that you need to know right around 8:04 here.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey everybody, this is Elizabeth Kaiser. Please join me on my new show, Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser.
On News Talk STL.
You know the world today. People seem to be rooted more firmly in diverse ideologies more than ever.
SR1 Sundays.
Why is that? You know, the shortest distance between 2 points of view is a straight line. Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser.
Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019 94.1 and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The man who broke into the Pennsylvania governor's mansion in Harrisburg and set a fire early yesterday morning had planned to beat Governor Josh Shapiro with a hammer if he found him. That information gleaned from court documents. Police say the suspect, a 38-year-old Harrisburg resident, admitted hating the governor. Why? We don't know. The Shapiro family and some visitors were asleep at the time of the attack.
Shapiro says they were awoken at 2 a.m. by state police banging on the door of the governor's mansion in Harrisburg. The fire was extinguished. It broke out on the first night of the Jewish holiday of Passover, which Shapiro and his family were celebrating. Earlier, he put a picture on social media of his Seder table. State police say the fire caused significant damage to part of the residence.
Correspondent Julie Walker says there were no injuries. President Trump explaining the rationale behind pending tariffs on pharmaceuticals.
We want to make our drugs in this country. And by placing a tariff on the companies that are not in this country, they're going to move into our country and we're going to have our drugs made in the United States.
President says he's also planning new tariffs on computer chips and semiconductors. A private plane that crashed in upstate New York over the weekend was carrying 6 members of a close-knit family of physicians and distinguished student athletes. The twin-engine plane went down Saturday in a muddy field in Copec, New York, a community near the Massachusetts state line. The FAA says a New York City helicopter company whose sightseeing helicopter crashed, leaving 6 people dead, is shutting down immediately. The FAA launching an immediate review of New York Helicopter Tour's operating license as well as its safety record. On Wall Street, the Dow futures up 432 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Watch for a few morning sprinkles, but there's only about a 10% chance of this. Most of us will be dry. We'll be stepping out into temperatures that are in the upper 50s. And the cloud cover that exists right now, that's going to continue through the day. Temperatures nearing 70 degrees, but not quite reaching it. Turning breezy come Tuesday. Watch for even cooler temperatures tomorrow, but then the warm up begins by the midweek. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
In a world filled with uncertainty, one truth brings eternal hope. Jesus Christ's sacrifice on the cross, the greatest act of love ever shown. This Easter, pause to reflect on this profound message of redemption. Through his sacrifice, new beginnings are possible for everyone. Experience the joy of Easter with those who support our community. Tango Argentina Foods, Jules on Hampton, Abibi Pizza, Pasta, and more, and Best Buy Flooring.
Your addiction could cost you everything. Your job, your children, your loved ones, maybe even your life. Face it, you need help. Call Better Addiction Care now. It's time to end your addiction to drugs and alcohol. Help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter who you are, where you're located, or your financial situation. Our network of treatment centers can guide you before it's too late and you hurt yourself or your loved ones again. We're Better Addiction Care and can help put an end to your addiction. Plus, your insurance may cover up to 100% of costs. Don't wait another moment. Your life could depend on making the call right now. There's still time to get back what addiction is taken away. This could be the most important call of your life.
Call 800-743-6335. 800-743-6335. 800-743-6335. That's 800-743-6335.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Phifer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, St. Louis.
Will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin God.
Okay, so apparently we're going to have a historic space flight.
Yes.
What's historic about it?
Okay. Yeah. It's history, I suppose. I suppose it's history.
So celebrity women are going up in space for a few minutes, and that's like the big deal.
That's the big deal right now. Okay, so the countdown has begun. Blue Origin's first all-woman flight crew is shooting for the sky in West Texas this morning in about 20 minutes or so. Blasted on a journey 62 miles above Earth's surface. And this is the internationally recognized boundary of space,
right?
Basically,
so literally, you are considered an astronaut,
right? Once you
cross
get
that,
yes.
A lot of people think like to be an astronaut, you get degrees. No. If you go a certain distance up above the sun, you are an astronaut.
Yes.
So Katy Perry is about to become an astronaut.
Yes.
Gabe, can you make me an astronaut, please?
Hey, if you strap enough rockets to it, you can make anybody or anything an astronaut. At least briefly.
So this is Gayle King from CBS News.
Yes, among several others.
Katy Perry, the singer.
Yes,
I didn't recognize the others.
I didn't recognize anybody else too, but I'm going to look up the full list of this crew here. But
their makeup was on point watching to the rocket.
Okay, right. Gayle King, Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez. She is engaged to Amazon and Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos. Okay, so his wife. He's sending his lady. Aisha Baubo. Now she's a former NASA rocket scientist, so at the very least, she's getting to reap some benefits for having actually contributed to things. And then Amanda Nguyen. I never know how to pronounce those names.
No idea who these people are.
She's a civil rights activist.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it also says she is currently an astronaut. So I guess at some point she belonged to a crew. And then Carrie Ann Flynn, who is an American film producer.
Now, Lunch Ladies figured out why this is so historic is that for the first time, we will be able to measure the effects of space on Botox and silicone with them going on. Good one, lunch lady.
Dang.
Wow.
See, you know what? The ladies always come.
They come in hard, man.
They come in hard. It's like we try to be at least we nibble around it.
We could get in trouble for saying that.
She said that, not me.
Yeah,
Yes.
we nibble around some of the things we want to say about these situations, but the ladies in our comment section, they usually go hard on these things.
Oh my goodness. All right. It's 8:08 right now. In other news, let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news. The morning news.
But before we move on,
I thought of other things too.
I have to say something about, because it's even in the story that I found, and they don't really say it outright, but the rocket looks a certain way.
It does. it just do your search.
Yeah, it's the Blue Origin is the name of the company that runs this particular rocket, and it's shaped a certain way.
Now, Blue Origin, is that that's not Bezos. Is that Richard Branson?
Yeah, that's
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's sending...
Branson is Virgin Galactic.
Oh, right.
Bezos is Blue Origin.
Got it.
Right. So it's the billionaires club of space companies. So can we just talk briefly about what this thing looks like?
Well, I was going to say, maybe we can get some audio from that coming up here when they actually do the launch.
Oh, on the launch,
which will be in about 20
minutes. Okay, so we'll save it. We'll save it for the audio.
Yes. All right. So let's see here. In reference to other people who may be associated with that term, Chuck Schumer.
We have news to do, gentlemen.
Oh man, I think I finally killed Gabe.
You might have broke me.
Yeah.
You might have broke me with that one.
All right, so the House passed the Republican-led SAVE Act, requiring proof of citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. And talking and acting like a rocket ship is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, saying to reporters, "This thing isn't going anywhere."
I want to tell the Senate Republicans something. It is dead on arrival in the Senate.
So maybe that's our new, don't be such a rocket ship.
Oh my gosh. Hey guys, have you searched the Blue Origin rocket ship yet? Are you looking at it? Guys, I'm just saying, just have some fun. Just take it out. Check it out. So you'll understand the jokes.
Right.
Should I hit the morning news dump button again?
At this point, yeah. All right. Doge says at least 6,000 illegals paroled into the U.S. by President Biden. Now, remember, paroled was the term that was used during the Biden administration to basically say waived in the illegals. But at least 6,000 of those had criminal records, or they were actively on the FBI's terrorist screening center watch list. And frankly, a lot of them were living pretty well on your and my taxes.
On its X account, Doge reports among the 6,300 paroled aliens with criminal or terrorist records all obtained Social Security numbers, 905 collecting Medicaid, including 4 on the terrorist watch list. For that alone, some $276,000 was paid out. 41 collected unemployment insurance, receiving $42,000 in benefits. 22 received federal student loans totaling $280,000. 409 received tax refunds, and an undetermined number were awarded food stamps. Bob Agnew reporting.
And that's the thing is, okay, all of these benefits, it just shows you how willy-nilly all of our tax money is being handed out. That's what Doge is. Now, the funny part is you take all the fraud and all the stuff that Doge is uncovering. Is it going to make a massive difference on the actual federal budget? No.
Yeah, because we're talking trillions.
But the fact that there are so many people angry about this shows that it's pulling the scab off of something that they want to protect.
Well, absolutely, because the thing is, it's like we all pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like and if it's something stupid or unnecessary or downright fraudulent or gross, I think it's gross to pay for foreign criminals to live in our country.
Right. To give them unemployment benefits, student loans, and then food stamps.
Yeah. All of that is gross. And my tax dollars going towards it, even if it's $10 freaking dollars, I'm mad about it.
No kidding. All right. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and his family victim to what state police are calling an arson right after they celebrated Passover at the governor's mansion. Speaking to reporters, the governor has this to say regarding the political violence.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay.
And the police have made an arrest in the case. This is Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Colonel Christopher Paris.
We do have an individual in custody. His name is Cody Balmer, Balmer, age 38, with a Harrisburg post office address.
Okay, so Balmer, police say, actually got into the governor's mansion to set the fire around 2 a.m. while the family was there and asleep. And there was significant damage. Nobody was actually hurt. Balmer is expected to face charges of attempted murder, terrorism, and attempted arson.
It's terrible.
Well. Yeah.
That this is where we are. And this stuff is becoming normal.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we cannot allow this to become normal. All right, 8:14 right now. Got a few sports things. I also want to follow up, this thing with this rocket flight. They're making a big deal. It's the all-female rocket flight up there. And I won't say who in the room here mentioned or observed, but somebody said, but as they're going to space, basically, I'm paraphrasing, are they going to detour to Starbucks to get a pumpkin spice latte on the way up there?
I'm just saying.
You gave yourself away. I was protecting you.
No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. That pumpkin spice latte, that gets him every time.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see here. Turnovers, including a fourth quarter interception, contribute to the Battlehawks' first loss of the season. I told you DC's defense was legit.
Yeah.
So the Battlehawks ended up on the wrong side of a 27-15 final score at the Dome on Sunday. DC remains undefeated. The Hawks are now 2-1. But before the game, UFL owner Danny Garcia announced that St. Louis will host the league's championship game again this season. That's 2 years in a row. Actually, the only 2 years of the UFL, St. Louis has had the championship both times. That game is going to be played on June 14th. The Cardinals get the win on Sunday and winning the series against the Phillies. Man, am I going through? I've now hit the high note twice now. Excuse me. All right, they beat the Phillies 7-0. Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker had home runs. Redbirds started a series of Busch with the Astros this evening. Sonny Gray is going to be on the mound for this one. First pitch is at 6:45. All right, we're down to the wire. Blues have one game left in the regular season. They trail Minnesota in the wild card race 95 points to 94 points. Minnesota has one game left in the season. Calgary Flames are 92 points. They have 2 games left in the season, meaning of those 3 teams, we don't know who's going to be in the 2 wild card spots. That's how down to the wire this is, but we'll know more tomorrow.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They'll be impressed when they see your custom-made draperies, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you select the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design, personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you money on draperies, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is sending out an SOS. We're expanding fast and need your help. We need a flooring warehouse expert pronto. We need a flooring scheduler just as fast. Join our growing team at Michael's Flooring Outlet with locations in St. Peter's, Darden Prairie, and Creve Coeur. Don't wait. Visit michaelsflooringoutlet.com and click on careers today. Michael's Flooring Outlet. where great floors begin with great people.
News, analysis, opinion.
You know, they're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
Speaker Tim Jones here. Make sure you listen to the Tim Jones and Chris Harp Show every day from 4 to 6 p.m. But right now, let's get back to our early morning media mogul, Mike Ferguson, in the morning.
Okay, so we're about 12 minutes away. It's kind of funny because rockets launch basically every day in this country.
Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, our entire kind of technological infrastructure is being, or the technological infrastructure for the future as well,
Right.
is being built in space with all the various satellites and all of the maintenance that has to go into those things. Also, satellites eventually expire. Their orbits break down. They just burn up in the atmosphere, and you got to replace those with something. So there's obviously a constant stream of traffic into space these days.
Right. It's kind of funny to think of it terms as traffic into space, but the rockets, I mean, literally launch every day going into outer space. And of course now, and part of this is CBS is making a big deal because Gayle King, one of the morning anchors on CBS's morning show, is going to be on it.
Yeah.
And then like singer Katy Perry is going to be on it, which is weird. And then, a bunch of
Of
people.
course, Jeff Bezos' girl is there.
Exactly. Which I guess we're about to find out if like they're arguing and fighting, because if he doesn't bring them back down,
I have to say, hopefully they're on good terms.
Yeah, seriously.
Then the rest of them, and Katy Perry hasn't had a hit in a long time, but isn't she doing that karaoke show? Isn't she?
She's on the with the Masked Singer, or maybe some of the other things,
or the American Idol, which one of those karaoke shows?
It might be American Idol.
Maybe
actually.
it was. I don't know. But yeah. So they're making a big deal. This is all female. The all female. I mean, guys, can we be done with the? Are we going to still act surprised when women do stuff? It's like the first black person to do this. Are we surprised when somebody who happens to be black does something?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
See, the whole milestone thing is done. It's been done because, okay, it used to be a milestone when there was an entire system built up around preventing that from happening. Like that makes a difference. First black player in Major League Baseball. First this, first that. Okay, those made sense because at the time there was a structure that was built against it. Now it's like, hey, I'm the first black guy to do that thing that nobody cares if I do.
Yeah.
It's like what
But the headlines are first black man to,
Exactly. So it's come on.
Yeah, it's 2025. Why are Democrats still surprised that black people and women can do things?
yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, she managed to get out of the kitchen and get into space.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, they're people. They can do things.
They can do things.
What did it take to entice her? Well, a rocket that's shaped apparently like.
Yeah. Do I need to have that drop button ready?
By the way, just kind of to let everybody know, they call this a crew.
Yeah,
it's not technically a crew. No. Because the thing is, when you think of crew, you think of people who are actually operating the vehicle, right? So the crew of a cruise ship or the crew of an airplane. Those are people who actually have a responsibility on the vehicle. These are passengers. This is the whole point of the Blue Origin spaceship is that it's autonomous. It goes up. It reaches, it releases the capsule into space. It follows a preset trajectory before falling back to Earth and landing safely.
So the crew is really in the control room.
The crew is in a computer chip. It's completely autonomous. It just does what it does. Now there is obviously there are backup people and people monitoring. It's like, and those are all the people on the ground control, things like that. But the people in the capsule are passengers. Yeah. So this would be like celebrating an all-woman flight on a private jet.
The first all-woman roller coaster experience.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's like, I didn't know women could get out of the kitchen and get on roller coasters. That's basically how it seems right now. That's how it reads to me. In my ears, that's what it is.
I mean, so because it was I think it was a SpaceX that took William Shatner up, or was it one of this? It was one of these that like William Shatner was on one of those, and everybody kind of went, okay, that's kind of cool. First of all, he's 90 years old or whatever, but besides, he's made his entire living on being the guy from outer space who'd actually never been to outer space, and now he's been to outer space. But now it's like, what's the cultural value of Katy Perry being a big deal or something?
I mean, look, I understood the cultural value of sending William Shatner into space.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. Okay.
Captain Kirk.
It's Captain Kirk, right? There are a lot of people who were inspired by the show to do things now.
Sure.
Like the communicators that they used on the show inspired the flip phone. Like that's where that literally the guy who invented it said, yes, I wanted to make a communicator like on Star Trek, and he did. So I get that. I don't understand the Katy Perry thing. I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand how they chose
Gail
this crew.
King thing.
I
mean,
do not understand how they
I
chose
don't
this
know.
crew.
But they're trembling like this is a huge big deal. And it was funny because we just saw the video of everybody who's going to be the passenger walking in, and then they ring some bell as they're walking in with their spacesuits on, and every one of them has clearly had professional hair and makeup.
Oh yes, there was.
I mean, seriously,
there was a crew brought in to do that.
Oh, jeez. All right,
Well,
8:23 right
it
now.
is what it is.
Okay, so guess how unhinged the left will actually go over anything related to being pro illegal immigrant.
Mhm.
And I wish that I was making this up, but I'm actually not. I want to make sure I've got the right copy here for this as well here. But in Chicago, you know, the Cinco de Mayo parade is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, as it is in a lot of places.
Well, sure. It's like a cultural celebration.
Yeah. But this year, organizers have announced in Chicago, and this is according to WLS radio, organizers announced late last week that Chicago's annual Cinco de Mayo parade is canceled this year.
Whoa.
They canceled it.
That's big.
Now,
What-
they're talking about the parade. I don't know if about the any other festivities, but the parade itself, which would attract hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people.
What the heck?
Organizers, and I am reading from WLS and the news copy that picked it up here.
Okay.
Organizers said immigration policies from the Trump administration are creating fear in the Mexican community, and canceling the event puts safety over profit.
Bro. No. Did they really say
They
that our
really
entire
said
community
that.
are illegal immigrants?
Yes, that's what the left is saying basically, is that all brown people must be illegal aliens. And if they come out to watch a parade, then Tom Homan and Kristi Noem and Donald Trump are going to go scoop them all up and send them to Mexico.
They're rounding up the brown people. Everybody hide in your homes.
That's right.
that's okay. I can almost guarantee it. I would put money on this bet that it was some liberal white woman who made this decision.
Yep.
And all of the Hispanic community was like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, you know that they're really mad up in Chicago. I mean, you're from the Chicago area. I mean,
Yep.
you know that the Hispanic community is probably ticked off that they don't get to have the Cinco de Mayo parade. And there's a whole lot of, like, you know, college kids who also would just use the excuse to get
Right.
drunk.
To get blitzed.
That they're mad too. And all of this, they went, well, blame Donald Trump for us doing it. No, you didn't blame
No,
Donald Trump.
you did.
And most of the people who are Hispanic who would have gone are Americans just like everybody else. But if there are some illegals in there somewhere, and you're saying, well, we're going to put safety of what? Safety of the illegals? You know, and so you're going to tell the 90% of people who are just fine and just wanted to go to a parade?
You should be afraid. I guarantee there was a Karen committee who came up with this idea to cancel the parade.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
it's for safety.
Yeah, it's safety over profit. So you get the little Bernie Sanders thing in there as well. But they said they're creating fear in the Mexican community. What you mean? Listen, there are plenty of people who are here in the country legally or who are of Mexican heritage. They shouldn't be scared of anything at all.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, didn't the Hispanic vote in large part break for Donald Trump?
Well, it grew.
It grew. Okay.
It grew.
All right.
Not the majority, but
Okay.
it definitely grew.
I think there were pointed majorities, and they tended to be in the border towns.
Right. And but that's the thing is, when the surveys went and tried to find out why,
Mhm.
particularly the more of the Hispanic vote went for Republicans, you know, Trump on down, immigration was one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. It says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. If I came here legally, I went
Mhm.
through the process, I spent all that time, all that money,
Mhm.
I waited in line, and then 50 people cut in front of me.
Mhm.
And when I finally get here, I don't get any Social Security money. I don't get any private aid or nice hotel rooms, but people that cut in line that didn't go through the process do. I
Mhm.
would be furious.
Oh yeah. Some of these people having criminal records in the other countries that we knew about.
Yeah,
we just talked about earlier.
I came here to get away from you. What are you doing here?
Yes,
you're back, and you're taking Social Security checks from that I'm paying for with my actual job, with my actual legal Social Security number that I acquired through hard work and money.
Well, it's not even just on the border towns. I mean, look at places like Denver, where the school district, which is
Oh, yeah.
among the most uber leftist anywhere in this country,
Being overwhelmed.
they've had to like cry uncle, saying we're out of money, we're out of space, and they had to admit it's because of all of the illegal aliens in the sanctuary city.
Oh no,
You had something, did you? Oh,
no, I was just going to say, I mean, to go through all that and then still have the Democrats refer to you as an illegal to keep cover for their imported, essentially voter base that they were trying to do. I mean, I would be that's huge disrespect. I would be a hardcore conservative, which is what seems to be the way that they are going. Luckily, so hopefully, law and order and all that stuff's coming back because. Talk about tone deaf.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to cancel the parade saying, well, it's because we're afraid of Donald Trump in Chicago.
Maybe you should be afraid of Donald Trump. You stay inside. The rest of us, we're going to go out and party. That's
there you go.
That's how I
Hey,
look at it.
you know what? That's Cinco de Mayo is one of those days where I give myself permission to go eat something, really tasty, but really off my clean diet.
Something that'll punish you later.
Yeah, it will. It will, but worth it. Absolutely worth it. All right, 314-912-1019. The historic blast off's about to happen.
Yep, in about a couple minutes here, we'll have the live launch crew audio for you.
Yeah, there it is. They're waiting liftoff there in wherever they're blasting off from.
Why does blast off feel different when we're talking about this particular rocket?
Gabe.
I'm just saying.
You're going to get us canceled, Gabe.
You said it, and it just, I don't know.
Janet, talk to your man.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Watch for a few morning sprinkles, but there's only about a 10% chance of this. Most of us will be dry. We'll be stepping out into temperatures that are in the upper 50s. And the cloud cover that exists right now, that's going to continue through the day. Temperatures nearing 70 degrees, but not quite reaching it. Turning breezy come Tuesday. Watch for even cooler temperatures tomorrow, but then the warm up begins by the midweek. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Fox News commentary.
Democrats are rejoicing that Bernie Sanders was able to draw a big crowd in deep blue LA. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
National security is at risk, and China controls most of the world's supply of antimony, a critical metal for military and defense technology. Military Metals Corp is taking action and securing a Western-controlled supply with projects in Europe and North America. Critical minerals are the backbone of modern defense. Now's the time to pay attention. The stock trades on the OTC under ticker MILIF. Call your broker today or go to www.militarymetalscorp.com to learn more.
Democrats are excited Bernie Sanders was able to get about 35,000 people out for his oligarchy protest in LA over the weekend. First of all, it's LA, so people show up to protest, riot, parade, really whatever at the drop of a hat. It's also a deep blue city in a deep blue state. There are nearly 4 million people in LA. 70% of Angelinos voted for Kamala, and Democrats are stoked that 35,000 came out to stand around for Bernie. It looks impressive, but it's not exactly groundbreaking. What's even better are the oohs and ahs about Bernie taking the stage at Coachella. Bernie Sanders is a multi-millionaire with multiple homes, and no one finds it at all contradictory to warn that the oligarchy to a crowd of festival goers with tickets that cost over $500 for general admission and nearly $1,500 for VIP passes. None of this is as impressive or formidable as the left wishes it was. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Springtime in St. Louis means one thing. That's right. Golf is back, baby. Sugar Creek Golf Course is located in High Ridge, just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois. To book your tee time or to learn more about the special event and banquet facilities, simply visit sugarcreekgolfcourse.com.
Spring storms are on the way, and your home needs to be ready. At Connor Roofing, we specialize in roofing, siding, and gutters to protect your home from the elements. Don't wait for leaks or damage to strike. Our expert team will ensure your home stays safe and secure all season long. Call Connor Roofing today at 314-375-7475 for an inspection so you can enjoy the beauty of spring leak-free. Look us up at ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com. And remember to count on Connor.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for the Great Window World. You know, just over the last 20 years of Window World being in St. Louis, they've improved the look and thermal efficiency of more than 76,000 customers in St. Louis. Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of De Pere. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, folks, the launch appears to be a success so far. And we are going to go ahead, and I think we have some audio actually from the Command Control Center right now that we can play for you about the rocket launch.
But it looks like a giant
dick.
Yeah.
Take a look out of starboard. Oh my God, it looks like a huge...
Pecker! Oh, yeah. Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Private! We ever...
It's yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because like the first historic all-female Blue Origin flight is now way up in space up there. They're not doing anything up there. They're just going to go up there.
Well, and like we were discussing, I mean, if this was a crew of like people afraid of heights, we have the first crew going into space that are afraid of heights, that would actually have some sort of break, or claustrophobic people.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Gabe was saying, it just seems like they're in there. You know, I don't really get it.
Childless cat lady for Trump on Rumble. No, men, I hope they don't have a jar that they can't open while we're up there.
Cat lady.
And I would have put it's the ladies that are coming up with the best zingers on this. This is so I think for a lot of women though, it's like, why are you patronizing me with you know all of this, like, Oprah Winfrey, they just showed she's like crying and stuff because she's there because I guess her and Gayle King are close friends, shall we say.
Now, there have actually been women on the International Space Station.
Yes,
like,
we just got one back from there.
Like we literally have had women that have gone out and done things in space. What is because Katy Perry's on here now? It's suddenly a historic event.
That's a great point because, for instance, we just got Sunny Williams back from the International Space Station. She'd been up there for months. It's not
stranded,
like stranded. Where they were doing like sciencey stuff up there, but yeah, Katy Perry and Gayle King are going up there, so now it's a big deal, worthy of all this network coverage.
Are they at least gonna like record a song from that altitude? Like something, give us something more impressive than people in a rocket ship that goes in the air.
Oh my goodness! All right, so Blue Origin rocket is now doing their thing where they're going to be back down on Earth in probably another 10 minutes or something like that. But in all seriousness, if you had a chance to go up in one of those, would you?
So I do actually have claustrophobia.
Okay. Okay.
So on the one hand, that's weird. I'm not afraid of heights, and I love doing those like roller coaster type things. But you put me on an airplane, and I just get really, I just feel trapped in. So if there was enough leg room, and because again, I'm also about 6'5", if there's enough room, then I probably could tolerate it. But if you just said, hey, get in this little cramped metal box and go up into the altitude, I'm like, let's see what other options. Like same thing with deep ocean stuff. Like I love the ocean, but you put me in a submarine under the ocean, I'm like, yeah, this is just too much.
There's no way I would do the ocean thing, but I would do one of these.
You would have Kickstart My Heart blasting all repeat all the way up to the atmosphere, wouldn't you?
So they've deployed the big parachutes, or no, I guess that's the rockets that fell off they're coming back down at this point. No, that's the reentry. They're coming back down.
Oh, so they just
Yeah.
went up and now they're
No,
they're
that's
not
all-
even like
that's-
hanging out.
No,
They're-
no, no. It's going up and then straight back down. That's all it is.
And that is the most amazingly historic moment women have ever had forever and ever. I mean,
Apparently.
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say maybe they're a little bit braver than I, because they actually went on there, and I'm sitting here crying about how cramped it might be. So maybe I should show them a little bit more respect. But that, I mean, besides the rocket, the shape of the rocket seems to be a bigger story than they're not even going to go like float around in orbit or nothing.
No, no, no. They're all on the way back down.
Yeah,
already.
no, they are already descending rapidly.
Right.
That is all right. Well, that's something happening with that.
Yep, it was just straight up, straight down. That's all that it is there.
So
And
brave,
then-
so stunning.
Yeah, and then I think this is one where they fire the rockets at the bottom, and then they try to land the actual thing, which is pretty cool to watch.
Oh, so these women are actually landing the rocket themselves, right?
No.
Oh, no, they're just
there's some guy in a control room.
they're just hanging out on a roller coaster ride
No.
while actual scientists do all this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
No. It's more like parallel parking. So we're not gonna.
Well, show us the scientists then. Come on. Those are the people that deserve the credit. Let's be real. Like, I mean, Gabe's probably remote controlling this right now on his way to work.
So it is just landed. It is landing. So there we go. They're back on Earth. That was it.
That was less. It took less time than this entire segment.
Exactly. We've got a 9.5 minute segment, and that was literally like a 5-minute thing. But you know what? I would do it. I would do it. Now I'm with you on going in the deep sea. No way. No how. No, thank you. Never.
Which the weird thing is I've been what's called scuba diving. It's when they have the oxygen like the oxygen tank attached to the boat, so you don't just like free flow. You have a limited space you can do, and it was absolutely surreal. Like going down in the depth. I mean, you can get some inner ear pain if you don't do it right, but it was absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm thinking about that. Like I would do that again in a heartbeat. But if you put me inside of something, that is where the issue comes in. And it's like, then you have like the giant squids and all this other weird stuff in the bottom. It's like, I don't need to, hang out with the eldritch horrors that lurk beneath us. But yeah, I would much rather go somewhat into the water freely and be at risk of shark attacks than I would in that metal container going straight up and down for 9 minutes, like it's some sort of major historical event.
Okay. So the tip of the rocket, for lack of a better term, was separated, and then it's coming down with a parachute, and it's going to land, I guess.
Still does not look good.
No, and so they're deploying their things, and the actual rocket has re-landed in the launch spot.
No, that's impressive.
It's pretty amazing. So the parachutes are long, so the ladies will be back down on the Earth here in just a couple of minutes or so. But yeah, it's just a weird thing. The funny part is everybody's got their cell phones out watching. It's like literally there are TV cameras everywhere. Just look at the thing and enjoy the moment. You don't have to take pictures on your cell phone there. But yeah, I mean, now I've only been scuba diving like in fairly controlled circumstances. Like I was in the Bahamas and did some scuba diving with sharks and stingrays.
Oh, okay.
But it was like at Atlantis.
Oh,
when we were there and they were rearing them to release them into the wild. And so we were in a very, very controlled environment, but going in anything super deep, no, I would not be interested in that whatsoever. But I mean, the jokes are just kind of writing themselves.
Well, it's like Gabe keeps telling us, it's not about the size of the rocket. It's about the thrust it can generate. And, so maybe there's some more. So we need him here to explain that science to us. But in Florida, I actually get to swim with the sharks.
Yeah.
There's a conservation thing. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to nature and conservation efforts. So, you can swim with the dolphin or have it paint you a little picture, or you can swim with the sharks. And I was like, sharks are a lot cooler.
Oh, yeah.
And sharks are less dangerous than dolphins. Let's be real. So I don't know if you know about that.
Well, I know dolphins are very smart.
Yes, they are borderline sociopathic when it comes to the nature world. They're adorable, but yeah, I got to swim with the shark, and it was, oh my God, you want to feel your spirit animal awaken. That is how you do it.
I think with this rocket, it's funny because the national media has tried to make this such a huge thing, and they've just now landed back in the desert in Texas or wherever they are. So they wanted to make this a huge big deal because they're like saying it's a huge accomplishment because it's the all-female passenger, or they called it a crew, but it's literally just passengers up and down. That's all it is. So you've got 6 passenger seats, and that's what makes it a big deal. I mean, that's what to me is so funny. I mean, if this were any other collection of people, nobody cares.
No.
And we only frankly care in order to make fun of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could have put, I would say it'd be more impressive if they had put people with handicaps on there, something, give them an experience. But really, why does, I mean, is Katy Perry going to walk off there and announce a new album or a pregnancy or something? Like, that's the biggest gender reveal that they've had or something. I don't know. I just don't see why this is major.
It's not that, I mean, the technology is cool, but this isn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, this is.
But I appreciate all the material that they gave us to make jokes.
Yeah, I was going to say Gabe should have wrote down more of his scientific innuendos.
Yes, precisely.
Our chat is having a field day as well, and that's a good reminder, folks. If you want to join in the conversation, but you're a little radio shy, you can always join in our live streams and make comments, and join our ridiculous ragtag team of listeners who have quicker wits than I do with some of the stuff I can't pin. But
yeah.
It's a great time, and you can also listen to the replays on our social media sites as well as our podcast, which the best, the greatest.
There you go. Like Ed, it's just propaganda for rich people Six Flags ride. Basically, very, very expensive one at that. Yeah, no question there. All right, 314-912-1019. All right, let's see here. We've still got about 20 minutes before Vic Porcelli takes over here. This Real ID thing. Let's go back over that because Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security, kind of created a little bit of a frenzy, frankly, among conservatives by putting out a PSA saying, you got to do your Real ID this time. Come May 7th, if you do not have a Real ID, you're not going to be allowed into federal buildings, or you're not going to be allowed to fly. Now, the rest of the story is unless you have your passport is the way that I think the rules are at the moment.
Maybe that's what this whole thing was about. It was they all have their real IDs and they're trying to show you what you can do with it.
That's right. You can go all the way to space if you want there. So that's creating a lot of pushback that happened over the weekend as well. We'll talk about that. Get your thoughts on that just ahead here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Did Donald Trump and Republicans make everything great again over the weekend? We'll discuss with Senator Jim Talon at 4:25. At 5:25, Red State Headlines with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning people.
So when you look at, if you watch any of the news that's not on the conservative side, you're probably going to see a lot of this Blue Origin or whatever it's called. It is funny. The media's going around everybody like, talk about this historic space flight. Space flight, you literally went up.
You went straight up, straight down.
Yeah.
And a team of qualified, intelligent scientists were in control of the entire mission. You just sat there with, I guess, looking pretty, I guess.
You just penetrated space and came right back out.
Shame on you.
I know. All right. Okay. So, the real ID debate, this has been around for literally something like 10 years now. But what's happened is there's been so much pushback over real IDs over the years, including in states like Missouri, that the feds have backed down time and time again. And the real ID goes back, I want to say this was towards the end of the first Obama administration, then the first Trump administration, then during the Biden administration, now the next Trump administration. And a video was posted by the Department of Homeland Security over the last few days. I don't exactly know when it was posted. It was either Friday, Saturday, or yesterday, where Secretary Kristi Noem really is trying to get everybody on board because the federal government apparently is not going to back down with this deadline. Here's what she had to say in the PSA that they launched.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States. These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security. Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-ID. Thank you.
Okay, so they're saying this is it, May 7th. If you do not have that real ID, and by the way, generally speaking, I think a lot of people are saying, okay, when I go get my license renewed, if your license doesn't renew for a couple of years and you don't have it, I hope you have your passport. I mean, check with the airport beforehand, but before they said, okay, your passport will work as well. Passport should be able to get you into the, the federal buildings. But you think about it, we talk a lot about the flying aspect of this, but when they say you've got to have a real ID, so a perfectly legal, valid ID that your state issues, if it's not real ID, federal compliant, they're saying they won't let you into the VA building. For instance, if you're a veteran and wanting to get services, Social Security Administration, business, all that. So now they're saying come May 7th, they're actually going to do that. Whether they're going to follow through, I guess we're going to find out about 3 weeks.
Yeah, there are a lot of auxiliary consequences that could come with something like this. And I mean, I have a real ID just because it was easy. Everything I needed for a regular ID, they just said bring 2 pieces of mail with the same address on them, and then So, but again, when you're impeding people's ability to travel, when you're impeding people's ability to go to federal buildings that might be necessary for something in their life, and then there's also the doomsayers right now worried about the registry that could be created, the way that it could use to track you. I mean, look, at this point, we're already being tracked in so many different ways. I don't think a real ID is going to be the tipping point for everything, but as somebody that values privacy and values individual liberties, I don't necessarily agree with the government saying, well, you already have an ID, but now you need this special ID to do the same things you were just able to do a couple months ago. You know?
It's a power grab. It's a power control thing. My license had to be renewed a couple of years ago, and I did the same thing. I don't really like it, but I'm like, I'm going to fly again someday. If I can't, I don't like that they're saying we're going to put extra obstacles and that we're going to interfere with your ability to travel freely, but they have the power, the authority, and the guns to do that. They can do, so they can do that. So, I mean, that's what I've got. Does that make me a sellout? Well, I don't know. I guess when I'm flying somewhere, I'll think, I'll think about it, I guess.
A childless cat lady also says she wonders if not having a real ID will keep you off of jury duty since, in federal court.
That's interesting.
So, and again, if you don't show up for jury duty when you're summoned, you're supposed to have like a very, very valid reason to not at least go through the process to become a juror. So, yeah, I think that this is one of those things where in principle, I can understand what they are trying to do, especially when it comes to getting rid of illegal aliens and, stopping terrorism. But the echoing effects are what I'm more concerned
Well,
about.
and you look at like in the state of Illinois, where they are issuing state issued IDs to illegal aliens.
Mhm.
I mean, so they're literally handing these things out. The city of St. Louis wants to begin their city ID program. Now, none of those are supposed to be able to be used for voting, but that's an actual official ID. So the real ID in concept is to override all of these. So if you get the city ID, which basically is aimed at both the homeless and the illegal alien population, then you should not, under the real ID, you should not be able to get on a plane using that. Saying, but that's an official government ID, but that's not something they're going to accept.
Now, I wonder, with the real ID and the way it's working now, how would that transcribe to purchasing firearms, for example? Is there going to come a point where they say you can't buy a firearm without a real ID?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get, again, to tinfoil hat, but Pam Bondi does not necessarily have the greatest record when it comes to two-way rights.
She is not a strong two-way person.
So,
which I voiced when she was picked. I'm like, I'm not wild about her because of her record, which is mixed at best on the Second Amendment. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
If to say, well, I mean, if it's important enough that we have to have a real ID for you to get on a plane, then somebody in Congress is going to go, well, then clearly it's important enough that we need to make sure that we know who's buying this gun. So that where could this go? That's the whole concept of unintended consequences. If this becomes the thing that you have to live your life in the United States, then what else are they going to apply that to? That's an interesting point.
Now, for me personally, I'm not a fan of the TSA in general, and I just do not like the airport experience. So I take the train. It's a good time. You get to hang out with the Mennonites, and it's almost like I almost feel like you should feel like there's more things that go wrong on trains because of how just free it is. You show them a ticket, you get on there. You can do almost anything you want on that train, and nobody really cares. It's just a great time versus waiting in lines, having to take your shoes off, take all the stuff out of your bag, get searched down, get randomly selected, then get on a plane with a bunch of crying babies and a bunch of snoring people, and it's just no headroom, you could walk around on trains for the entire trip. You could do jumping jacks if you wanted to. They really don't care.
If you look like and I know we subsidize Amtrak and it's not commercially viable on its own, but I've done the train ride to Chicago a couple times. I kind of enjoyed it, to be real honest. I wish that the free market could support it. And if I had a vote on it, I would say, well, we shouldn't be subsidizing it, at all. But the tickets aren't really, they're really not particularly cheap, but it's cheaper than probably doing a drive or a flight up there. But part of that is because it's subsidized as well. But if you want to see the country, it seems like a great way to do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it takes a little bit longer, and of course, delays can happen, stuff like that. But I mean, you can see parts of the country and even parts of certain cities that are just absolutely gorgeous that you probably would never see just even driving around or walking around. I'm not trying to shill for a big train right now, but again, to my knowledge, they're not requiring a real ID. And
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
trying to remember if they even checked my ID because I've got I'm sure they did. I'm sure they looked just to make sure the name was matching, but I mean, I remember just kind of walking on, both here and in Chicago.
I went from here to Kansas to visit my cousin, and then from Kansas to my home area in Chicago, and then from there and back. And my uncle accidentally put his name down on the ticket instead of my name, and I just kept showing them the ticket. Didn't have to show an ID. They were just like, "All right, get on here. You bought a ticket," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm not encouraging people to do it that way. I'm just saying that it's a lot different than getting patted down and scanned and all that kind of stuff that they do for trains.
But now we've got the real ID, and that's what's going to make us safe, apparently.
Yeah, no, of course, because when the Patriot Act happened, no more terrorism happened after that. So wait, if that worked, why are we getting real IDs now?
Exactly. Well, and here's the thing: is that in Missouri, at least, you still don't have to get a real ID. If you just want a regular state driver's license or ID, you can do that. But what the federal government is saying, but we're not going to let you get on a plane come May 7th, or we're not going to let you enter a federal building unless you have that special ID.
Now, I know with travel, you can get away with a passport, but can you enter these federal buildings with an ID and a passport if you don't have a real ID, or do you have to have the real ID to get into a federal building?
Okay, so before they said they would accept it, don't take my word for that, but I think that's the case. But here's the thing. You don't have a real ID. Then if you got to go meet with somebody at Social Security, or you're a veteran and you're going to go to the VA for something, call ahead and ask the question. Make sure. Make sure.
So remember when people used to do the, you try to get somebody older than you to buy you alcohol from somewhere?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jerome.
Well, now I feel the opposite. They're going to find somebody younger with a real ID to go into these federal buildings for.
That's right. That's what it is. All right, Vic Porcelli coming your way here in just about 6 minutes on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.